Okay, so in this example, we're going to talk a little bit about method overriding. Okay, so method overriding is something that you use in situations where you have superclasses and subclasses, and you want the behavior to change depending on whether you're talking about the superclass or the subclass. So I'm going to demonstrate what that means. So going back to this example, I have this shape object, and it has this one attribute of color. It's got a constructor, it's got a getter, a setter, and a toString method. And the toString method prints out that it's a generic shape with the color. I also have this circle class, which you'll notice extends shape, so it's a subclass of shape. All right, and this adds the property of radius. So it inherits the color property from shape, but then it also has this property radius, and then it's got its own constructor, it's got a getter, a setter, and a toString. And its toString prints out both the radius and the color, calling the getColor method from the shape superclass, defined right here. Okay, so now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about overriding a method. Okay, so let's suppose that over here in my shape class, I'm going to just create a new method, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to just make it void, and I'll say do something. Okay, maybe instead of do something, we'll do display area. Okay, so we're going to, all right, now I've got a generic shape here, so I don't know if this shape is a rectangle or a triangle or what. It's just a generic shape, and all it has is a color. So I really have no way of computing the area. So I think what I'll do right here is I'll do a system.out.println can't compute area. This is a generic shape. Okay? All right, so now I've got this display area public method. All right. Now, because I have this, okay, and I can compile this shape and it compiles just fine. Because I have this method now, circle, because circle is a subclass of shape, circle actually inherits that method. Okay. So if I go over here into an implementation class, I can create a new instance of circle. And I believe my circle constructor, yes, wants a string for the color. So I will pass in blue. Okay, and I should be able to do C1 dot, what did I call it? Display area. Okay, so even display area is defined here in the shape superclass. Okay, but because it's public, circle, which extends shape, inherits all of the stuff that's over here in shape, so it inherits all this stuff. So that means I can go ahead and use the display area method, okay? So I went ahead and did that, and now if I was to compile and run this, okay, you would see that it prints out this message down here, can't compute area, this is a generic shape, okay? Well, now wait a second. It's true that this display area you can't compute and it's generic for a generic shape, but what about in the case of a circle? Hey, a circle isn't a generic shape and I can compute the area. So this is where overriding comes in. So I can actually provide a definition of the same function that's specific to circle. So what does that mean? So I can actually in here do public void display area. Okay, and you'll see, look, if I go back to shape, see how it says public void display area? I have defined the exact same method here inside circle. It's got the same signature, the same return type, the same arguments, everything. Okay, but let me show you what you can do. So in this case, what I'll do is I'll say system.out.println, and we'll do the area is, and I guess we can do like math.pi times radius. So pi r squared is the formula for the area of a circle. And we'll see if this works. So if I compile that, okay, it lets me compile. So now, if I go back here to this code, and I run this, you'll see now it says, oh, the area is 0.0. So before, when I just had this generic display area method, it went ahead and executed that. But now what I've done in my subclass is I've overridden the method with the exact same method signature to get different functionality, okay? And so this is interesting. Let me go ahead and create a few other objects. Like, let's say that I did shape S1 equals new shape S1.display area. Okay, so you'll see that, oh, I need to pass in a color here. So this one black. All right, so now if I run this, you'll see that I get, for the first display area, I get the area 0.0. I never specified a radius, that's why it's giving me 0.0. And then for the second one, I call display area, and it's saying, well, I can't compute the area, this is a generic shape. So in other words, it's using the display area from either the shape object or the circle object. Okay? Now what would happen if I did this? What if I said shape S2 equals new circle? Okay? Remember in a previous video on inheritance, we pointed out that because circle is a subclass of shape, you can actually do this, and this will work. Okay? Now if I was to do S2.display area, what do you think that it would display? Okay? Well, we're going to see. So, oh, I need to give it a color again. Okay, so make this one red. Okay. And if I run this, you'll see that for the first one, the C1 display area, it said the area is. For the second one, which is just a shape, it gave me that generic can't compute area. And for the third one, even though I've said that S2 is a shape reference, because it's actually a circle object, Java is smart enough to say, okay, well, when you say display area for this, what you really mean is you're talking about the display area in circle. So it's going to use that display area in there, okay? So in the next video, I'm going to give you a quick example of how you might practically use something like this.